Professor Alan Shahade, Dean of the Maroon Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, distinguished alumni, honorable guests, faculty, students, and colleagues. Good morning. On behalf of the Maroon Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture, I want to start off by welcoming you today to the opening ceremony of MSFEA's flagship spring event, Ideas 2024. Ideas is an assemblage of modules that are a venue for celebrating the achievements of alumni, the endeavors of students, and the results of research conducted at the MSFEA. I will now give the floor to Dr. Masoud Khreish, Chair of Ideas Committee.
Thank you, Noor. Thank you, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, scholars, and innovators, welcome to the Ideas Conference. This is a conference hosted by the Maroon Sam'an Faculty in Engineering and Architecture at the beautiful campus, the American University of Beirut. It's an honor, really, to stand before you today as we embark on this journey of discovery, collaboration, innovation. I represent a hardworking conference organizing committee. We would like to thank the Dean and the Dean's team for sharing their vision for this conference with us and enabling us to make this vision happen. And hopefully you'll be joining us in the next couple of days to see how that vision takes place. Before I continue, I just want to note that our hearts, minds, and prayers are with our brothers and sisters in Gaza and Palestine, and God bless them and God be with them in these troubled times. So ideas, innovation, discovery, engineering, architecture, and science. These are the pillars upon which this conference stands. They represent the essence of what drives us forward as thinkers, creators, and problem solvers. Today, we gather not only to celebrate our achievements of the past, but also to chart a course into the future, filled with limitless possibilities. Today, in this rapidly changing world, where challenges are abundant and complex, the role of engineering, architecture, and science has never been more critical. From tackling climate change, building sustainable cities, harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, or just understanding how to deal with it, and just exploring the mysteries of the universe, or even our own brain, this little soft tissue trapped in our skulls that makes us who we are. Our collective effort has the potential to shape the course of humanity for generations to come. But the path of innovation is not always easy. It requires courage to challenge the status quo, creativity to think beyond the boundaries, and resilience to overcome obstacles. It's about embracing failure as a stepping stone towards success and turning a setback into an opportunity for growth. As we gather here today, let us remember that each of us has a unique role to play in this journey of discovery. Whether we are seasoned researchers, budding entrepreneur, or a passionate student, your ideas, your creativity, your dedication have the power to change the world. And that's the reason most of us got into this and from the beginning, to make an impact on our world. So I say, let's dare to dream big and push the boundaries of what's possible. And let's embrace our diversity, our collaboration, and inclusion as a cornerstone of our success. And let's not forget that the greatest innovation often emerges from the most unexpected places. So why not the shores of the Mediterranean? As I end, we begin this exciting journey, I want to share with you the words of Albert Einstein, who once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress and giving birth to evolution." So let's unleash our imagination this next couple of days and in the future, and let us ignite our passion for discovery, Let us make Ideas Conference 2024 one to remember. Welcome.
We will now be with a recorded message from President Fadlo Khouri, who was not able to be with us today due to prior commitments.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Ideas 2024. This is a great meeting. That's the feature meeting annually, research and outreach of the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture. And what it does is it showcases AUB's role in the world and in the region. And I'm recording this for you as we just got back, the provost, the dean, and myself from the West Coast, where we had the privilege of attending a wonderful meeting on the role of technology and AI in particular in the modern world. We met with many alumni of the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture and watched some outstanding roundtables, which really were eye-opening. So why is this important? Well, AUB, as you know, has been a beacon for the propagation of knowledge and solutions in the Middle East and in the world for many, many years. Initially, the faculty started by designing the tools and training the leaders who would build the fossil fuel dependent economies of the Middle East. And now we see challenges with the environment, challenges with growing gaps between rich and poor, worsening wealth gaps globally. And these are real problems. And we look to our universities and in many ways to our schools of engineering for solutions in the future. However, what we need to do is to even further focus our engineering faculty, students, and staff on the importance of a liberal education, especially in our professional schools, because it's critical that a liberal education help us understand what and who man is in order to plan for a better future for womankind and mankind. So this is a meeting where the alumni of the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture and the faculty get together to design a better future for all. I wish you the greatest success. We're very proud of our alumni from the Maroun Sam'an Faculty of Engineering and Architecture. The MSFEA alumni are among the most generous that we have, are among the most forward-thinking that we have, and among the most engaged that we have. And I wish you the best of luck and an outstanding Ideas 2024. Special shout out to Dr. Masoud Khraish for again organizing this meeting and for Dean Alan Shadi and his team for conceiving it. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Please join me in welcoming Dean Alan Shadi today.
Well, good morning, everyone. I got in last night from the West Coast, as you heard from President Khouri, meeting with alumni from AUB and actually from Lebanon as a whole. I talked, at that conference, I talked about the original role of this faculty, as Dr. Khouri mentioned. We were conceived as a faculty that would produce the talent pipeline for developing what was considered by the US State Department at the time as the greatest material prize in world history and a stupendous source of strategic power. That was the way that this faculty was originally conceived. And you know, at least since we took over in 2015, we've reconceived the faculty as being an engine of innovation and producing the innovators that will change the face of the modern Middle East, away from fossil fuels and fossil fuel dependence to emphasizing the kinds of ideas that we can bring forward to the world. And so among the other things that were done, we repurposed this conference. This conference is actually, its roots started out as the FEA Student Conference more than 20 years ago. And in 2018, we turned it into Ideas, one of the brainchildren of Ayman Qaisi, who was an associate dean at the time. And Ideas, apart from the ones that the IDEAS that Masoud mentioned to you, it's also innovate, integrate, inform, inspire, imagine, impress. D was demonstrate, design, develop, discuss, dare, and do. We want to foster risk takers. E, express, engage, experience, energize, excel, explore, encourage. A, aspire, advise, achieve, acquire, accelerate, award. And S, start, share, show, sustain, spark, and shine, among others. So this captures in a way the ethos of this meeting. And today we're here to celebrate some of our illustrious alumni, both trailblazers, what we call emerging trailblazers, but also the distinguished alumni. The emerging trailblazers tend to trend on the younger side in the more recent graduates. And I'll mention before I get to them that AUB is a remarkable university, and you all know that. It's one of the top 250 institutions in the world, according to the Global World Rankings. The company we keep are far more funded universities, and I think the secret, the magic of AUB is really the talent that it attracts, both the students and the faculty that it attracts. It's a top 100 university in the world in terms of student employability. The people that come out of here are in high demand. It's a top 25 university in terms of the impact of the people that come out of here. And the impact is measured by things like having recent alumni that are on the Forbes top 25, MIT 35 under 35, et cetera. So it's really a remarkable university, and within this remarkable university, I think this is the most remarkable faculty, although I'm biased. So you will see today some of the reasons why we are so remarkable. And I'd like to begin by reading the bios of the awardees and welcoming them up to the stage. The first one today is Hadi Salman. I taught Hadi. By the way, I was in California, I just mentioned. I met with people that had started 5 and 6 companies that I taught. I was like, you became a millionaire in the time since I last saw you. Now, Hadi's not a millionaire yet. He's an emerging trailblazer. He graduated AUB in 2016 with dual degrees, one in mathematics, a BS in mathematics, and a Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering. He went on to Carnegie Mellon and earned a master's degree in robotics there, and then went on to a slightly known school called MIT, where he graduated in 23 with a PhD in computer science. So there you go, math, mechanical engineering, robotics, and computer science. Hadi, he is currently he went to Microsoft and then went to get his PhD in computer science, and then joined OpenAI. He's now at OpenAI, and his groundbreaking work in shielding against fake imagery was recognized by MIT Technology Review, further highlighting his remarkable contributions to the field. I had a conversation in the airport, the last thing I did in the United States, with one of our other illustrious alumni, Habib Haddad, and he said, hey, you really need to look for this guy named Hadi Salman. He's doing remarkable things. So I'd like to welcome Hadi to the stage as one of our emerging trailblazers. Please give Hadi a hand.
Thank you so much, Professor Hadi, for the award. I'm really excited to be here after 8 years after graduating from AUB. And I'm truly honored to be recognized and to receive this award by AUB. I thank everyone who participated in my journey to lead me to this moment and receive this award. I thank AUB in general. I thank Professor Fadl Khouri. I thank Professor Hadi, Professor Isam Lais, Professor Daniel Asmar, Professor Edi Shammas, Dani Boujawde, Nasim Daher, and many others who have contributed to my knowledge that I gained here at AUB. And I thank all my professors at Carnegie Mellon and at MIT, especially my PhD advisor, Alexander Madri, who contributed immensely to my journey. I thank my parents, of course, my mom and dad, my sisters, my brother. I thank my friends here in Lebanon and in the US. And finally, I thank my lovely wife, who has been amazing, who has given me amazing support, especially in the past few years. And unfortunately, she couldn't be here today, but I love her so much, and I thank her for staying near me all these tough days that I had. Okay, so today I'm just gonna have a very, very informal talk. I'm gonna give a quick overview of my background, just in case someone doesn't know about it, and then this will pave the way for the main message that I want to kind of deliver in this speech, which is around ChatGPT and LLMs in general, given that I'm at OpenAI and I work on these things. So yeah, I basically graduated from AUB, as Professor Ash Hadi mentioned, in 2016 with a double major in mechanical engineering and mathematics. I was very excited about autonomous systems in general and robotics during my undergraduate studies here at AUB. And this led me to actually go to Carnegie Mellon, so I was lucky to get into Carnegie Mellon, specifically by the help of Professor Eli Shammas. So at Carnegie Mellon, I worked on robotics and machine learning, which is exactly what I like. And it was at the moment in time where machine learning and neural networks has been has started to be successful and to actually show amazing performances on really, really hard tasks in computer vision and natural language processing. So I just was very excited to be there at that moment in time. But I wanted to do more, and I wanted to get into core machine learning, core AI, do impact, and be one of the guys who is actually improving these models instead of just applying them and using them. And this led me to an AI residency program at Microsoft Research. I was very lucky to get into that program, and it was really life-changing for me. So this is for future generation. Search for these AI residency programs. They are like 1-year program in top companies such as Microsoft, Google, OpenAI. And the goal of these programs is to allow young people to get into the field of AI and do 1-year research with top talent in the world and pave their journey and research journey and research path and start actually doing machine learning research. And this is exactly what I did. So I worked on robustness aspects of machine learning, and this led me to get into MIT for a PhD in computer science, where I also worked on developing robust AI systems. So how can we develop machine learning models and AI systems that we can confidently deploy in the world? AI is integrated in every single aspect of the world, and it will just be more and more doing so. So we need to trust these models. So how can we actually do that? This was the main focus of my work during my PhD. And during my PhD, basically last year, ChatGPT came out. This was a game changer for everyone, I assume, specifically for me. ChatGPT is the best thing that have happened in technology, in my opinion, in the past few decades. It's just such a powerful model. I'm sure, I'm not gonna try to advertise it, given that I'm at OpenAI, but I'm sure everyone of you have used it, and either ChatGPT or other large language models. These models are just so powerful, and they can do so many things, and they have the potential of solving all our problems. And this is the thing that actually excited me most. I love doing everything. I don't have the time to do everything. That's why I chose engineering. I wanted to be a doctor I remember in my early days, but I just have to choose something. But with such a model, you can actually try to you can actually contribute to solving all the world's problems. So I was just in love with this kind of model, and I wanted to just contribute to it and make it smarter and smarter so that it can help in solving every single world problem that we have right now. So that's it. I wrapped up my PhD. I was like, that's it. I'm going to OpenAI. And luckily, I got into OpenAI. And I've been there for roughly a year. And the fun fact is also my advisor also joined immediately after me. So he's also my manager now at OpenAI. So my PhD advisor. So it's fun to have a PhD advisor and then a manager to be the same guy. So we're doing very, very interesting stuff there. I can't talk about exactly the details of what I'm working on, but it's a lot of cool things. What's coming after GPT-4? Also, I can't talk about it, but really, really cool stuff. And I'm very, very happy of what's happening right now at OpenAI. Okay, so this gets me to the point that I want to make. These models are really powerful, and they are changing the world, and they are very, very capable. Life before ChatGPT is very different than life after ChatGPT, and other models, of course, all the other large language models from big companies or even open source models. These models are very powerful, as I mentioned, and as you all have used. They are very good at coding. They are very good at writing. They are very good at thinking. They are becoming very, very good at reasoning, and this will just improve from here. So there are 2 points that I want to highlight here. We have to adapt and get used to these models because they are just becoming better and better. So a very important thing that we have to think about is, which I'm sure many people are starting to think about and already maybe are thinking about in the past couple of years, is how to improve our education system to adapt to these models. Think about when the calculator came out, for example. We don't have to do redundant kind of manual calculations. We now have something that helps us to kind of propels us forward. ChatGPT and these large language models is just an extreme kind of case of the calculator. It just can help you in so many things and can boost your productivity immensely. I personally have become like few X more productive than what I was after ChatGPT came out. It's just so good at coding, so good at brainstorming, thinking, iterating. It's just so powerful, and it's becoming better and better at math, and will just keep progressing. So we have to kind of figure out exactly what to learn during our studies, for example. Try to it's a very tough problem, and of course I'm gonna leave it to experts who have been teaching forever to figure it out. But we need to think about this very important question, a very, very important thing to think about. And the other thing that I want to highlight, I'm running out of time, so I have to go quickly, is that we have the opportunity right now to transform our nation, Lebanon, and the region overall by utilizing this AI kind of capabilities and AI models. So there's a very kind of subtle point here that people might not be aware of. These models are very, very powerful, and people are using them to accelerate their productivity and their kind of products, and companies, huge companies are redesigning, Google and Microsoft are redesigning all of their structure to kind of align to and use these models to improve their productivity and to kind of capture new realms of products and stuff. But because of these models, and because these models are very powerful and very accessible, the kind of competitive advantage that people have outside Lebanon, for example, in the US, for example, or in Europe, to build new products and new companies is very, very kind of collapsing between what we can do and what they can do is not very different, because they are trying to rely on this model, and we have access to the same exact model, which is a concentration of so much talent and so much research and so much knowledge in the world in the hands of us and in the hands of them. So many people are right now just building on top of these models, building amazing products, amazing companies. And it's not taking so many talents to do that. You need one person with ChatGPT, and he or she can do amazing stuff. So I think we have to take this kind of opportunity to close the tech gap between us and developed countries, between developing countries and developed countries, because we have the same kind of material to build things. We have the same kind of intelligence in our hands that they have. And this intelligence is becoming more and more better than the average kind of expert in any field, and it will just be improving. So we have to kind of think about how to best utilize these models to build companies, transform our world, transform Lebanon, transform our nation, and hopefully with time we will be competitor to the best countries in the world in terms of technology. I'm very, very kind of optimistic, and I'm gonna personally work on that, and I hope many people are working on that. So with this, I really hope that Lebanon and the Arab nation and the Middle East region takes this opportunity and transform themselves and propel themselves forward. And with this, I thank you all for attending. It all started at AUB, and I'm really, really glad to be here at AUB. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Hadi. Our next emerging trailblazer is Mira Toukan. Mira earned her Bachelor of Engineering in Chemical Engineering in 2013, and then she went on to do a Master of Science in Management at Imperial College. And she is the product manager of the coatings material business at Dow Chemical. Mira stands out as one of our emerging trailblazers because of the rapidity with which she has gone through the industry and risen up into a major role. She's a trailblazer in a field where AUB alumni were previously absent, and has demonstrated exceptional leadership and pioneering efforts. So I'd like to welcome Mira Toukan to the stage to accept her award.
Thank you, Dean Shahadi, for the award. So, good morning, esteemed faculty members, our fellow alumni and aspiring students of the engineering department, and everyone here with us today. It's truly an honor to be standing here as a returning alumni, back to where it all started at AUB, and I'm humbled to be receiving this award and also to be sharing a glimpse with you of my career path and my 2 cents of advice. When I thought about it, I didn't think it was that long time ago that I graduated from AUB, but then I did the math, and it was more than 10 years ago, plus minus 4 years, but who's really counting? About 14 years ago, I was sitting in the same seats as you, all filled with ambition and eagerness to embark on what life will have for me. Little did I know the twists and turns that awaited me, but actually what shaped me to who I am today. I think what I'm trying to say is that your career path will not always be as planned and will not follow definitely the same line trajectory. My journey started with AUB. It all started here, and I think AUB is one of the most outstanding universities that doesn't only shape you from academically, but also from socially and also the way you present yourself, building your brand. Just a few pictures to showcase. I did chemical engineering, class of 2013, which I'm very proud of, the first batch of chemical engineering that started here in the engineering department. And then it took me to London, where I did my master's at Imperial College, class of 2014, but I didn't do it in chemical, I did it in management. I wanted to have an idea and understand a bit more of the business world and how it works, and also to gain the experience of the business. Then I did a few internships here and there, one in CCC, in engineering, and then in Johnson & Johnson, more into sales, finance, and marketing, and then also did 1 year in Dar al-Handasa in the industrial department. But the real journey started for me when I decided to take a leap of faith and go to a little town in the Netherlands called Terneuzen, which you've probably never heard of, and joined the supply chain rotational program at the company that I'm currently working at, Dow Chemicals. So for me, that was definitely going outside my comfort zone. I learned a lot from supply chain. It is the backbone of all the different functions. I learned about how to handle raw materials, being at a plant site, all the challenges that comes with it. Also about the different businesses, handling importing material, and all the logistics behind it. And definitely how to work at a site, which is, let me tell you, not very easy. And then after that, I decided to move into something also new that I didn't think I would be doing, which is technical sales. I became the regional technical sales for the polyurethanes business. Now, to make it simpler, polyurethanes goes into the seats you're sitting on, to the mattress and pillows you sleep at the end of the night, all the way to the interiors of the automotives, and also to the roofs of the buildings for energy efficiency. So being a woman in that industry was also not easy. It was challenging. I had to be strong, being in a world of men, let's put it that way, and learn about negotiations, both internally, externally, how to handle customers, and also tailor-make our products to match their needs, which is also why it's important to always share ideas and try to innovate as much as possible. Then my journey also took me to take a new role, which is the role that I'm currently at now for the last 2 years, product manager for the coatings business. So another business, paint. And product management is really about handling assets, looking into revenue growth, whether through reducing cost, increasing prices, looking at the feedstock, monomers, the market analysis, and understanding how it is best way to find strategic, long-term strategic initiatives for the region. And also about product optimization, which I'm sure you all learn a lot about. I don't think I've been long enough in this corporate world to share with you, all the keys to success, and I don't think that exists because everyone has a different journey, but I think my 2 cents of advice goes as follows. Embrace every opportunity. Your career path may not always follow the straight line that you think, but each experience will contribute to your growth and your skill set. Second, never stop learning. And I think that really showcases what have been said before me about sharing ideas, innovation. You really, whether it's through formal education, certification, hands-on experiences, continuously seek knowledge. The world is ever-changing. We need to stay up to date with the industry trends and see what follows. And last but not least, your network is your net worth. This is my advice to you as well. Cultivate yourself with a diverse network. Surround yourself with people from different backgrounds, perspectives, because their insights will definitely enrich your journey, and it will also help you innovate and think outside the box. Your time at AUB is just the beginning to an extraordinary journey for you. So I hope you make all a profound impact in this world. I want to thank you once again for allowing me to be here with you today to share my story, and I wish you all the best of success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mira. So now we move to our distinguished alumni. And the first one up is Dr. Manar Shammas. He earned his Bachelor of Engineering degree in Computer and Communications from AUB in 2004. Then he went on to do an MS and PhD degrees in Electrical Engineering at Stanford University, finishing in 2010. Manar Shammas is a distinguished alum due to his exceptional achievements in the field of electrical engineering, with a background that includes a BE in Computer and Communications Engineering from AUB and subsequent degrees from Stanford. His impactful research, particularly in the development of ultra-high-speed analog-to-digital converters, has earned him recognition and numerous patents. As the Senior Vice President of Engineering at Omni Design Technologies, Dr. Shammas continues to lead cutting-edge advancements in FinFET. FinFET, anyone know what FinFET is? It's kind of transistor. In FinFET technology, solidifying his status as a distinguished figure in engineering. Dr. Shammas, please come to the stage.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you. I am humbled by this honor. Thank you to Professor Abu Faisal for the nomination, and thank you to the ECE department and the MSFEA for this award. I want to thank my family, my mom, sister, and my brother, who have been pillars of support throughout. And of course, thank you to my wife and my daughter. You both bring me immense joy every day. I graduated from AUB almost 20 years ago, and it's been inspiring to see all the changes here since then. What I realized after I graduated is that the education we received here was like a rich, nurturing soil. As the dean said, it's truly remarkable. My professors, some of which I see here today, taught us fundamentals and skill sets that I've used repeatedly throughout my life and career after graduation. If you had asked me then what I would be doing now, I would not have predicted that I would have entered the semiconductor industry. At the time, I had taken a few electronics courses here at AUB with Professor Icy. And although I enjoyed them, I just didn't think that's the field I would gravitate to. But I did. The semiconductor industry's impact has been ubiquitous. It enables theory to become reality in a large number of fields, such as healthcare, automotive, communication systems, and even AI. Every device in this room, whether it's your phone, your computers, your smartwatches, they all contain numerous chips. And it has been exciting to be in the middle of that field. But I'm not here today to talk about the semiconductor industry. Instead, I want to talk about change. It's tempting to look back at the 20 years after I graduated and paint this logical and deterministic picture of how I got here. But life really is just full of change. And there are two themes of change that I find fascinating. One that is out of your control, and the other that's within it. The first theme is randomness. Life is probabilistic, not deterministic. There are an infinite number of paths your life can take, as has been mentioned in the previous speech. And sometimes those are due to unexpected events. For example, in December of 2008, I received a phone call about a summer internship opportunity an hour before I was to board my flight to come here to Lebanon for a visit. I accepted, and I ended up joining that company after graduation. My experience there was foundational to my career, but I sometimes thought that, what if the call came in after takeoff and I didn't answer? Would my life have taken a different path? The thing about randomness is that it impacts how our life evolves. We make decisions all the time, and those decisions have multiple possible outcomes. Some outcomes are good, some of them are bad, and some are things we can't even foresee. I often talk to people who say things like, we had a really good outcome from this, so in hindsight, we must have made a good decision. Or alternatively, we had a bad outcome, which means we should have made another decision. But that's not really the right way to think about that. Almost all of these possible outcomes have a non-zero probability of happening. And once you accept that, once you internalize that, you start asking the question of how can I make a good decision given these different potential outcomes and their probabilities. In 2017, I had the opportunity to join a tiny startup that was working on some novel AI technology. This was back when the current wave of AI was just starting out, and I didn't know what to do. Do I stay at my nice job, or do I quit and dive into this ocean of startups? I ended up joining the new startup. And there will be several moments in all of your lives where you'll have to make several similar impactful decisions. Once you start thinking about how to make good decisions in the face of this incomplete information and uncertainty, you begin to have clarity about the direction of your life, and you act decisively in a way that leaves you without regret, even if the outcome you've had isn't what you had hoped for. Although we can't control randomness, we can work with it to leverage how it changes your life. The second theme is that of the multiplicative effect of incremental efforts. Unlike randomness, this is within your control. There was a talk that I attended here as a student a long time ago, where the speaker said this line that I just never forgot. He said that life is like a differential equation. And I'll admit that is a bit nerdy, but it captured this essence that life doesn't change linearly. It changes exponentially, even if the rate of change is small. And then when you put in some incremental effort, just to increase the rate of change a tiny amount, that effort is non-linearly amplified in ways you can't predict. Think of how Jaita is formed. You have something as simple as water running underground, and you end up with these beautiful and unique caverns, and life can change in similar ways too. I found that the easier and more effective ways to just implement this incremental effort is through meaningful repetition and practice. This builds muscle memory, which then frees your mind to do things more, do them faster, learn more, and explore new ideas more. This creates a positive feedback loop. And sometimes in school, we're taught that these positive feedback loops or these kind of unbounded exponentials are trouble. They cause unstable systems. But when it comes to change, I found that they are crucial. In fact, this is how young children learn. My daughter, who will turn 2 in a few months, will just do the same task over and over again until she's comfortable with it. Then she'll add a second task on top of that, do it again and again, and a third, until suddenly she started running and jumping around the house. And I think as we get older, we forget about how impactful that type of practice can be. If you do this repeatedly, opportunities will open up that you simply would not have been able to predict, especially once you throw in randomness into that mix. When I graduated, I didn't think that I would end up living in Austin, working on a third startup, and designing technologies using transistors that are only a few dozen atoms wide. Randomness and this multiplicative effect of incremental efforts have played a huge role in the changes my life has had since graduation. And I guarantee they'll play a role in yours as well. Now, how much of a role also depends on the people around you. I have been fortunate to be surrounded by people who have pulled me up with them as they've gone on their journey, who have supported me, who have taught me, who've taken chances on me. And I'm grateful to all of those. As you continue on your journey, as the changes in your life that will come happen, be grateful to those who support you, and be generous to those who can use your support as they continue on theirs. Thank you again for this award. It is truly an honor.
Thank you, Manar, for your words of wisdom. Our next distinguished alumni is Munya Bedran. Munya earned her Bachelor of Engineering degree in Civil Engineering in 1994 and her Master of Science in Civil Engineering in 1997. She is the director of the Center of Excellence at Khatib bin Alami. She's at the forefront of digital transformation, reshaping the construction and engineering consulting industries in the region. She was one of the early pioneering developers and champions of digital integration and technology adoption in her field in Lebanon, and she is the reason that much of the work in the ENC industry is moving forward in this direction. Munya's career is a testament to the proposition that you do not have to go to Silicon Valley to be a success, and you can stay right here and make a difference in the region. So I'd like to welcome Munya to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I stand here in front of you today, I remember when I first set foot on this campus more than 30 years ago. I was thinking that getting accepted at AUB in this prestigious university would be a dream come true, and here I am. I'm deeply honored to stand before you today receiving this Outstanding Alumni Award. But this award is not mine alone. It belongs to every person who stood by me during my entire journey. I would like to thank the MSFEA for this award, along with my professors who helped me and guided me during my journey. I will name Dr. Salah Sadeh, my advisor, and Dr. Munir Mabsoud, just to name a few. Now, was it difficult for me as a woman to go up the ladder in what we can call a male-dominated industry? No. And for this, I would like to thank my parents for the education that they gave me, which instilled in me a strong sense of determination and confidence. Was it challenging for me as a mother to juggle between my professional ambitions and my family responsibilities? Yes. And for this also, I'm grateful for the strong support and encouragements of my husband and my mother as well. They were my pillars of strength during moments of guilt and doubt when I was wondering whether I was giving enough to both my career and my family. Today, both of my children are young adults pursuing graduate studies of their own, and I can't be prouder of their journey. Similarly, I take pride in my own accomplishments in my workplace. Looking back at my own journey, I can say that my path was not predetermined. Like many students at that age, I didn't have a dream job that I wanted to pursue. And this was reflected in my AUB application form, as I applied for engineering, but I also applied for pre-med, for biology. And I also started as a CCE student, but soon dropped a C and moved to CE, to civil engineering. So it wasn't actually until my graduate studies, during my master's, that I discovered and I actually developed a passion for geographic information systems, or GIS. And this marked the beginning of my journey in the digital world. It was here, in one of the many AUB labs, that I was introduced to state-of-the-art technology. That same AUB lab was equipped with the leading GIS software by Khatib bin Alami. So when I graduated with my master's, it was only natural for me to start my career at Khatib bin Alami. And now, after more than 25 years, I'm still proudly part of the K&A family. Now, one may wonder, how could someone stay 25 years in the same company? Well, this is, of course, an indication of my personal dedication, but I can give you 4 key reasons for that. One is due to the dynamic nature of the organization, and more specifically, to the digital services. While AEC companies or architecture and engineering and construction companies have just recently embraced latest technology, well, when I joined Khatib and Alumni, the GIS department was already 9 years old, and I'm talking about more than 25 years ago. So throughout the years, my colleagues and I had the opportunity to actually shape our own career path. And why? Because of the rapid pace of technology, unlike engineering. So we made it a practice to review our operational model every 3 years. And given the rapid pace of change in the technology world, in the digital world, we actually changed with support and guidance from top management. So we changed from being a GIS department to a geospatial systems integrator department, and then to a digital services division. So this approach allowed us to stay agile and to actually be responsive to all these emerging technologies, and allowed us to maintain a competitive edge. So as a summary of the first reason is the dynamic nature of the organization, defining our own job descriptions and keep reinventing them. Second, it's the diversity of our clients. So I have worked in many industries, ranging from governmental authorities, like municipalities, telecom operators, water and electricity authorities, natural gas in the UAE, real estate, developers, industrial cities, and even worked with a social fund which was dedicated to alleviating poverty. So it's the diversity of our clients and the work that we do. Third, my colleagues and I had the chance to set the standards in our digital department. So we actually defined our own operational procedures. We defined the standards and the templates of our documents that are being used by more of hundreds of staff in our digital department. And we keep improving them day by day. And last but not least, it's continuous education. And we've heard about continuous education in the previous talks. And this is not only about acquiring new skills. It involves staying abreast of the latest technologies, the latest trends, innovations, and best practices. This also entails attending conferences, webinars, enrolling in online training courses. So as you see, there was no room for any routine throughout my years at K&A. Now the next point is, how does all this relate to my civil engineering degree? Today, with all the buzz and hype about emerging technologies, you've been hearing about AI, machine learning, IoT, big data, but also digital twins, immersive experience, gaming engines, augmented reality, and what have you. Well, know that we have always put our knowledge of technology at the service of our architecture and engineering departments. And this is where, as a civil engineer, I'm also a subject matter expert, which enables me to identify the needs and the requirements and to find innovative solutions. So, as I conclude my speech today, I would like to say that university will not teach you everything, but rest assured that AUB will provide you with the foundation, the tools, and the techniques that are necessary to start your journey of lifelong learning and discovery. It's not just about acquiring new skills or knowledge, but it's also about refining your critical thinking, fostering creativity, and developing a passion for excellence. Thank you.
Mariam Khalid Dabbousi is a graduate of the Bachelor of Engineering program in Industrial Engineering in 2018. She's a product manager at a small company called YouTube, if any of you have heard of it. She looks after the homepage for 2.7 billion users daily, or not daily, sorry, globally. Transcending language barriers allows technology to reach people beyond cultural, geographical, and even economic boundaries. Mariam unlocked this door for Google in the Middle East and North Africa as its youngest team member in the region by launching Google Assistant for Arabic speakers that could understand dialects in 18 different countries. Mariam is driven by the belief that technology acts as a bridge that provides a voice to the most marginalized in a connected world. Mariam, please come to the stage to accept your award.
Thank you, Dean Shahade. I feel unbelievably overwhelmed and grateful. This university, the professors that pushed me, the friends that stood by me, and the alumni that inspired me, they all shaped every decision I've made, so it kind of feels like I've come full circle to be standing with you here today. Somewhere between West Hall and Masri Building, which I used to know as Bechtel, I discovered I was drawn to technology's ability to bridge the barrier, creating equal opportunities for everyone. That affinity turned into an itch. The first time I scratched it, it drove me to an internship turned job at Google in the Middle East and North Africa, where I focused on how tech can be useful to millions of users in Arabic. The second time I scratched back, it drove me across continents to YouTube in California, where I'm now a product manager responsible for your YouTube recommendations, making them more personal, and for 2.7 billion users globally. Right now, I'm focused on improving the women viewer experience on YouTube, where I'm trying to make Recs more personal to women across the globe. I can't talk about what exactly I'm doing, but I'll leave a nugget. Sometimes when you look at a system as a whole, you think it's working fine, and that nothing's wrong and it's working as intended. But when you take a slice and look at a user profile, watch their behavior on the platform, you start to notice problems and nuggets. These nuggets end up turning into features that help users in general, and that's kind of what I do right now. I introduce AI and algorithm fairness to the YouTube rec system, and yeah, that's as much as I can say about that. I was the first batch of industrial engineering graduates, which was scary for me at the time. I wasn't sure I wanted to make that plunge, but I did, and I'm really grateful that I did today. Industrial engineering was more than a curriculum. It taught me a school of thought. It taught me to see systems and processes, the interconnectedness that lies beneath the surface of everything. It ignited a passion for identifying points of friction or opportunities for optimization. This university fostered the engineering eye, the ability to look at any problem or situation and instinctively seek ways to make it more streamlined, more efficient, more impactful. That curiosity and drive to understand and improve is the legacy of my industrial engineering education. Thank you, Dr. Maddah, and the entire Industrial Engineering and Management Department for the flexibility to shape my career. Dr. Maddah, I don't know if you remember this, but in E3, you approved me taking a CMPS course on mobile app development instead of a required industrial engineering course because, and I dug up the email, I want to be a product manager. But to manage software engineers, I need to know how to build the app myself. So this course is vital for my career. It wasn't that easy. You actually asked me to come in to talk about it. That email was kind of strange. But it baffles my brain that there was a point in time where I thought getting something was as easy as, if I take course X and Y, I'm definitely going to become a PM. It actually ended up taking me 4 years post-graduation to end up in a PM role, but I guess here we are. My friends weren't sure I was going to graduate that year because I did this for 2 other courses. So thank you for enabling me to build the career I want to be in and for believing in my potential. There are so many professors turned career advisors in this department. I'm not sure if they're still around, but just to name a few, Dr. Nadine Mouaktieh, my advisor, Dr. Salim Hani, and Dr. Hussein Tarhini. These are just some examples of professors who are forever immortalized in my memory as people who have shaped me and gotten me to where I am. Thank you to President Khouri and the university for instilling a value in giving back and the ability to make decisions under pressure, two things I picked up through AUB Outdoors. I lived and breathed AUB Outdoors for my final 2 years on this campus, and it's shaped the person that I am today. I discovered my passion for creating inclusive spaces, both on and offline, through Outdoors, and will forever feel a different kind of bond to anyone who's ever gone through that experience. Thank you, Dr. Shhadeh, Dr. Masoud, the Ideas Conference Organizing Committee, and the Maroun Samaan Faculty of Engineering and Architecture for the privilege to be here with you today. Lastly, thank you to my parents, my aunts, my uncle, all of which are here, calling out my parents by name, Elsie Faris and Khalid Dabbousi. Thank you for equipping me with the confidence and arguably the audacity to do cool things that matter. To leave everyone with a bit of advice, it was actually advice I got at AUB from someone I looked up to that graduated from here. And I wanted to get into big tech. The advice he gave me at the time was, if you want to be a software engineer in some big tech company, Facebook, Apple, OpenAI, Google, you're up against the brightest minds globally. But if you find your niche, you focus on your power, whether it's your power of language, بالعربي, or if it's your passion for bridging the barrier, you're going to find your niche, find the role that makes sense for you, and make it a no-brainer that this role was made for you. I'm grateful for this honor and to have graduated from AUB and the MSFEA. Thank you again.
Samar Makaroun she has had an illustrious career, including helping build the Apple brand in Arabic, and more recently becoming the first ever Arabic-speaking partner at Pentagram, one of the world's most renowned and reputable graphic design agencies. She joins an exclusive club of global design thinkers and practitioners, such as Abbott Miller and Paula Scher. Samar earned her bachelor in graphic design in 2000 and master's in cross-sectoral and community arts at Goldsmiths University in 2006. Samar, please come up to the stage to accept your award.
Thank you so much for the School of Architecture and Design for this wonderful award. It's a gift to be here today, and it's a very special gift because it's a gift from home. It's not an award from DNAD or somewhere abroad. And my home is not just Beirut, but it's also the university, where I really learned all the foundations of what I know today. Thank you, Leila Musfi, for setting up a course in graphic design when nobody really knew what graphic design was, including me, and thank you for setting up such a mix of teachers that you brought us to and who showed us different approaches and methods to design. Sometimes approaches that were opposing, but sort of approaches that inspired us in so many ways. محمد رواس ويدا الحارثي جمال عبد سمير صايغ هدى أبي فارس and many more لينا غيبة. Each one of them really was a peculiar way of thinking about design that sort of forged how we became thinkers. They taught us to look inwards and outwards, to look in the past and into the future, to try and fail and try again. They taught us to be sort of how to imagine success and with these methods that they found for us. And when it comes to really how inspired we were by your leadership, I have to also include my father, who is not here today with us due to his illness, but he was always a strong advocate of education, especially at the American University of Beirut, even despite the expensive tuition. He used to tell us as kids, everything you do it the best way you can. It's a very simple but very potent advice. And I went along applying really this advice in my life. I suppose some of the students here in this room are wondering how we got here. I'm not going to say من طلب العلا سهر الليالي, like work hard and then you get, success. Of course, there's a strong element of working hard, honing your craft, overcoming obstacles, falling and finding a way to stand up again. But like everybody else on this podium said, there is no really clear advice that can predict your life journey. Especially for the Lebanese students, because you are faced with a choice. That's a choice between a rock and a hard place, really, of leaving or staying. It's a difficult choice to make, a choice that's a little bit unfair for just kind of growing up in an economy that is difficult. If you stay with what this country has to offer you. And I'm glad to see that some of the award winners today are people who chose to stay. And if you leave like me, you also live with the guilt of leaving people behind, family, comfort, ailing parents. And so in my story, I set off to London in 2005. And London is not a city that welcomes you with open arms. It's a difficult city. It's a fast, hard place. I worked hard for 15 years to understand the culture, the Brits, to fit in, learn about football, the Queen, and making a very good roast. And as most women do, really, thinking that working hard is the only way to success, I went over and beyond, over-delivered. Wanted to talk a little bit about the sacrifices that women kind of do to get to success, but they were gracefully mentioned by the few women before me. Really, we don't have time to think about all of the things that we sort of sacrifice to follow our ambition. The many times we also find ourselves apologizing for our ambitions, making space, trying not to occupy too much space. And I think for me, it was only when I decided to not try to over-deliver for somebody else, to fit in, that things started to come to me with more ease. In 2021, I decided to set up my own design agency in London. I named it Right to Left. And I discovered afterwards that it was an oddity in the statistics of the creative industries in the UK, to my surprise, as apparently only 1% of creative agencies were set up by women, a 0.something% set up by women of color. That's a category I fit in, although I did lose my color when I went to the UK, so it's a little bit. So I was really, I think for 2 years, I was really happy to do my thing, to own my work, to follow my passion, really, and to work with joy and integrity. And it wasn't really that hard to set up a studio in London. Don't think it's hard. You can do it. Of course, by then I had years of expertise, and I had somehow found my voice and sort of let go of the anxiety of justifying or explaining my identity and language. I didn't care, basically. And this is when Pentagram really knocked on my door. And Pentagram is design history, it's the world's design history. It's a company with 50 years of a portfolio of 50 years. They're 51 this year. So it's a company that's older than me. So on this note, I decided to join, being the first Arab, and I think my motive was really to put our identity on the map. So I would like to conclude with a little amend on the work hard, man talab al-ula, especially for the women in this room. Work smart, not hard. Find who you are, how you work best, what you feel passionate about, and run with it, and don't look back. Focus on the method, not the journey, and you will get to where you want to get to. And maybe you'll get one of these awards, and you will feel super grateful for being acknowledged. Thank you very much.
Wa'el Awar earned his Bachelor of Architecture degree at AUB in 2004. He's the founder and principal architect of Weiwei, an interdisciplinary, research-driven, and innovative studio, which was recognized as one of the top 10 emerging firms in the world by Architectural Records' 2018 Design Vanguard issue, and one of the top 50 offices in the Middle East by Architectural Digest in 2022. He was the chief curator and designer of Wetland, the UAE pavilion of the Venice Architecture Biennale in 2021, which was the recipient of the prestigious Golden Lion Award in recognition of the research presented through Wetland focused on upcycling byproducts of industrial waste produced by cities and used as a sustainable building material, or what he calls crafting a future vernacular for architecture. Mr. Awad, please come to the stage to accept your award.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much. It is a great honor to be here today. As members of the AUB community, we all, of course, recognize the importance of education. A hallmark of a good education is the ability to make connections, to assume responsibility in a larger context beyond the narrow definitions of a discipline or the field of expertise in which we are trained. In my career as an architect, I have applied the tools I gained during my education and studies at AUB to thinking across a range of different contexts. Today, we are faced with a series of crises. Crisis of the environment, of equity, of urban growth, and of social justice. Responding to these crises in an effective way is not possible if we stay within the conventional limits of our disciplines. This is where the benefits of an education can be truly exercised. At YY, the architecture practice I founded, we have 6 design principles that are key to the development of our projects. 1, cultural and contextual sensitivities. 2, interest in phenomena such as natural light, activity, wind, and time. 3, a synthesis between architecture and landscape. 4, architecture beyond functionality and program. 5, diagram of relations rather than diagram of form. And finally, the future vernacular, which deals with sustainability, constructability, and ecological material sourcing. Architects have a responsibility towards the planet and the resources we all share. We are custodians of planet Earth. The construction industry is one of the greatest contributors to the environmental degradation. Working in the Middle East amidst rising temperatures and growing cities, this is abundantly clear. More than ever, we are disconnected from the planet Earth and the ecosystems that sustain us. We urgently need alternative solutions for the way we design and build. But where can we find these solutions? Architecture alone cannot offer an answer. Thinking only from a design perspective is limiting, and architects must therefore embrace the role as being fundamentally connected to the climate science, urban planning, policymaking, and other fields in order to develop strategies that can respond adequately to the multifaceted problems that we face. At the 17th Architecture Biennale in Venice, Hashim Sakis asked the question, how will we live together? As a practicing architect, I am a contributor to the environmental crisis caused by the construction industry. I therefore felt a deep sense of responsibility to investigate and propose an alternative to Portland cement. We all know that Portland cement is responsible for 8% of global CO2 emissions today. It is the 3rd largest single contributor after USA and China. It is also worrying to learn that Portland cement is the world's 2nd most consumed material or resource after water. I responded to the question of how we will live together by proposing a prototype structure that is the antithesis of modern architecture. The material used to build the prototype is derived from the reject brine produced through desalination water, which is an abundant waste material in the Gulf. Today, the UAE alone dumps the equivalent of 4,800 Olympic-sized pools of brine in the Gulf, causing a marine environmental disaster. In collaboration with material scientists, we at YY were able to propose a new cement that absorbs CO2 to achieve its structural strength. We built a pavilion from 2,500 modules that were individually traced in the soil by hand. These modules were inspired by coral shapes from the vernacular architecture of the UAE, and they could only be assembled through conversation without a single drawing. It was important for me to bring back craft and identity into the production of space. Our prototype led to a new question: can industrial waste produced by our cities be the new vernacular? As architects, we can no longer distance ourselves from the carbon footprints of the buildings we design. We have to hold ourselves accountable. This conviction led me to start a new lab parallel to my architecture practice called YY Research and Design Agency. The lab is run by a team of members from YY as well as interns from different universities. Last year, we had 25 interns from 12 different nationalities working in the lab. We invite practitioners and students to think and work collectively and propose sustainable building materials. Students today must step out of their comfort zones and think beyond the course of study that they have chosen. Collaboration and inclusive thinking are necessary if we are to imagine new futures. Any way forward must be rooted in existing local contexts, histories, and traditions. It is not nostalgia, but rather a commitment to learning from the past, something that was instilled in me during my time at AUB, and that continues to captivate me. Thank you, and I am honored to be receiving this award today.
Really inspiring work by all of our distinguished alum and trailblazers presented today. I'd like to invite all of them back up to the stage just to take a picture together. And I would like to invite everyone else up to the roof of this building for a small reception.